Hello, everybody. My name is Robert, and this is Going to Hurt. This is Going to Hurt, and we are in beautiful downtown Melbourne, Florida. We decided to monetize our political ravings and bring them to you. We plan on doing the show regularly, but we all know a plan is a list of things that isn't going to happen. So hang on, because this is going to hurt.
Okay. Robert is our moderator. He's the one that's going to keep Dave and I from tearing each other apart.
Dave's not here, man.
I know, Dave's not
Dave's
here.
in Hollywood being Hollywood Dave.
Because Dave got a unexpected part in a TV show, and he had to run to Atlanta.
We can't talk about it.
Our next or our future podcast, you're going to have Dave here, Hollywood Dave, who's going to do the liberal side. So we don't have that today, but what we're going to do today is
Don't ask what he found.
Yeah, don't ask what he found.
No
We're going to run our introduction. We're going to tell you what kind of shows are going to happen in the future, and we're going to give you a little sample of what the shows are going to be like today.
So the idea came from us hanging out at the kava bar, being clean, sober, and boring, because that's what we do. The kava bar was the lockdown lifeboat during the pandemic. We formed the Breakfast Club, and from that we would watch Commodore Jay here and Hollywood Dave enter Thunderdome, so to speak, on a political basis. And after being reprimanded several times, we decided to move the venue and bring the fight to you. For those of you who do not know what kava is a non-alcoholic drink from the South Pacific that is the glue holding this shit show together.
So we're not drinking alcohol on camera.
Nope.
We're drinking kava.
Bula.
Bula. Now, kava is a beverage that's made from the grinding roots of the kava plant in the South Pacific. They've been drinking it for thousands of years. It's not as intoxicating as alcohol. It lowers your blood pressure. It lowers your anxiety. And
It's safe.
And it's kind of safe. It's not really safe, but
it's not intoxicating at all,
it's safe enough. So if you're wondering what that cardboard box is in front of us, it's kava, because it's in the middle of the day and we don't go without it.
You should have to bula every time you say kava.
Yeah, every time I say
It's a
kava.
new rule. I like it.
Yes. Now, I'm going to introduce next our third member of the cast, and that is Mikey, our gay cowboy. From Wyoming. And he really is a cowboy, and he really is gay. So, Mikey, tell us.
Really from Wyoming.
And he's really from Wyoming.
Yes.
So tell us why you're justified to be called the cowboy, if not.
Well, grew up in Wyoming. Yes, I grew up hunting, fishing, doing all the normal cowboy stuff, riding horses, doing all of that stuff, and moved to Florida, and that's where I became into fashion and into other things. But I'm still the riding horse, gun-slinging cowboy that, Wyoming made me.
And he is gay.
That's true, too.
I can prove it.
I want to prove it.
So, my name's Jay. They call me Commodore Jay. I'm an ex-nuclear submarine driver, not a commander. I was the helmsman, and we won the Cold War. Yay. However,
Not showing his age.
I'm not showing my age. We discuss regularly at the Kava Bar all kinds of current events, political and otherwise, and this show is designed to bring that to you. The debate between Hollywood Dave and me.
And then the
Dave's not here. Dave's not here. And the moderator is going to keep us from tearing ourselves apart. And Mikey's going to throw some perspective in from an entirely different point of view. So, Rob, why don't you tell us some of the topics we're going to talk about in the future?
Well, in the future, we're going to talk about political TV stars. That's guys like, the Gropen Fuhrer and Jesse Ventura. That's another really good one. And Reagan, he was...
Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was not a great politician.
Yeah.
But he was a great TV star if you've seen some of his movies. So how he got elected was simply because of name recognition and really good speaking voice.
Kind of like DT.
Yeah, and although Dave was going to bring up this point,
Dave's not here. Man.
Dave's not here, man.
Being Hollywood Dave.
And Hollywood Dave. Donald Trump was not a politician, guys. Donald Trump
Was a reality star.
he was a reality show TV star.
He's a businessman.
He's a businessman.
And reality TV.
And reality TV star. But the point is, America elected a TV star. So you can't really expect him to behave
Like a politician.
like a professional politician, because that's not what he is. That's not what he ever wanted to be. That's not why he was elected.
Well, you can say anything you want about DT. He got great footage.
In my opinion, and you can say what you want, the media made Donald Trump. They gave him more airtime than any other candidate.
But that's what he wanted.
Exactly what he wanted. But if they hadn't want him to be elected, you don't want to have him in front of everybody's face on television every 5 minutes, which is what they did during the campaign, which is how the guy got elected. And then they're shocked, I tell you, when the guy got elected.
Well, he gets great footage.
Well,
And it's not like he's not used to having a camera follow him around anyway from being
he
reality
was a TV star. Of course he's going to look like that.
Yeah.
And then they're in Washington screaming at the sky, pulling out their hair because he got elected. The Democrats and the media are the ones who elected him.
Well, they say the Democrats control
Oops, sorry,
the
be careful what you wish for. And then they spent the rest of their time trying to unelect him. And they tried really, really hard. And it didn't work all that much. But we're not going to talk about Donald Trump through this whole thing. We're going to talk about a bunch of different stories, like
vampire politicians.
And
also zombies. And who would zombies vote for?
But exactly, who would zombies vote for? Rob, what do you think?
I think that zombies would vote for anybody because they're zombies. They're only after brains, and there's not really a lot of brains in this country right
Well,
now.
I'm gonna.
They're busy watching the other reality TV shows right now.
The zombies are busy watching reality shows.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out who their next president wants to be.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna go with. I'm sorry, based on what I'm seeing, a lot of zombies are going to vote for Democrats.
I think a lot of zombies are going to vote for Democrats, and a lot of zombies are also going to vote for Republicans. Like, there's a note here about Dave, and I remember him talking about the January 6th takeover.
Well, the January 6th takeover is going to be one of our topics for future podcasts.
It's going to get brought up a lot.
It's going to get brought up a lot because Dave and I totally disagree on that.
Very heated.
Very heated.
Fun times.
Dave, Hollywood Dave.
Dave's not here. Man.
Dave's not here, man. Hollywood Dave truly believes that that was an organized attempt to overthrow the United States. I, as a military veteran, kind of doubt that. And the reason I kind of doubt that is a bunch of those people were veterans, and I'm telling you that a group of Boy Scouts could have organized a better revolution than what happened on January 6th.
It's also kind of conspiracy Dave, too.
Well, conspiracy Dave, too.
I like Dave's tinfoil hat, even though Dave's not here.
Yeah, Dave's not here.
Yeah.
But guys, does anybody remember the Kansas City bombing? You had one guy with some military training who blew up an entire IRS building in Kansas City.
That wasn't Kansas City. That was Oklahoma City, and it was Theodore Kaczynski.
I stand corrected.
That's okay.
But one guy by himself blew up the whole building.
Yeah. With
If
farm equipment.
If 100,000 veterans who were trained in the use of weapons and explosives decided to attack and seriously attack the State House, I think they would have brought a gun.
Probably.
And they didn't bring a single one. The only ones that had guns were the security guards, and the only ones who got shot was a military veteran. So I'm thinking it wasn't an organized assault. Perhaps it was.
This was all staged. It was all staged.
Right.
Everything is
It was
planned
literally
by
something
some
out of a movie,
shadow
though.
Well,
Nazi
and I'm not
party.
saying it wasn't violence, and I'm not saying they wouldn't have liked to overthrow everything, but it was not planned for months in
No, they
advance.
looked like a fool out there climbing
Yeah.
on things. just
It was guys in a
falling,
buffalo hat
Yeah.
climbing a wall.
and people just falling, and it was just complete chaos. And
Yeah, and it was just complete chaos. It was not
You can't ever forget that this country was founded on revolution. It was founded by people who were pissed off and climbing fences.
well.
Like that's the way it works.
Well, my childhood was climbing fences and
My
running
childhood
from blue flashing lights.
So was mine.
Right, but
mine was just trying to not get run over by the buffalo.
yeah, that's why you're here, Mikey. You have a completely different perspective than the hoodlums on this end of the table.
Hey,
But-
what you mean, us people?
Us people. What are you, some kind of unicycle guy? But the point is that, and we're going to have an entire show about this at a later date. The reason for January 6th was up in the air, but I think everyone can agree it was a pretty piss poor revolution, one way or the other.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that.
I think we can all agree on that. But-
because that wasn't very
You know what? I don't think
Very true.
it wasn't very revolutionary. No, it wasn't. But I can tell you, going back to the whole, we don't have politicians now. We have media stars. We have television stars.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Ronald Reagan, since Ronald Reagan was elected, every single person that was elected was a media star. Ronald Reagan was a straight up, no kidding movie star. I mean, and we elected him president. Why can anybody be surprised when you elect a Hollywood TV star that they behave in bizarre manners?
Right.
Hollywood TV stars are bizarre. They do bizarre shit. Look at Charlie Sheen. I mean, seriously.
I think that Charlie Sheen is a role model for a lot of people who are my age. Anybody who plays video games and listens to rap music has a greater
Well, I don't know. Have you
appreciation.
looked at him lately? I'm not sure I want to
Yeah.
look like Charlie
AIDS will
Sheen.
kill you.
AIDS will kill.
But at least we have
Let's
something
get a gay
positive to talk
perspective.
about.
Will AIDS kill you?
Are you insinuating that AIDS is
I'm not
AIDS.
insinuating anything.
He's very Republican.
I was in Chicago. I used to live in Boys
Very
Town.
Dave of you.
Dave's not here.
Dave's not here, man. I lived in Chicago in Boys Town during the height of that, and I got to tell you, it wasn't a good time. But this isn't a show about AIDS. This is a show about vampire politicians because they're not just TV stars.
No.
In my opinion, they're vampires.
They're totally vampires.
They're totally vampires.
And we've had lengthy conversations about how much I definitely agree with that, but I also think that there's something else outside of the vampire politician aspect. We can probably get into that.
No, I can prove they're vampires. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Look at Dave. Look at Joe Biden. They're a million years old.
I was gonna
They
say, they
never
look like a
seem to
vampire.
die. They make no sense whatsoever. And I got to tell you, I've never seen them out during the daytime.
I don't know if you've ever seen the way Joe Biden moves around.
Do I need
but
to
it's
call
not
Buffy?
He's a
Well, it's not
very,
very vampire.
he's a
like,
very
lot of
old
zombie
vampire.
guy.
Yeah.
He could be 10,000 years old.
I
Maybe.
mean, Buffy handled
Could
it
be.
all. She handled the vampires and the zombies. So I
She
mean,
really did.
yeah. So I think it's time that we might have to call her in.
You know,
To kill the vampire.
Yeah,
I
what is
wonder-
Sarah Michelle Gellar doing
I
these
wonder,
days?
I wonder if Tommy Lauren is actually the Buffy the Vampire Slayer of the political arena.
What that tells me is we got to see if Donald Trump is under an alias and his real name is Van Helsing. It could be. It could be. I'm sorry. There's no possible way. That's
They have said that he's the lizard man or some alien. So I mean,
well. He's been called a lot of things. He's
Yeah.
been called a lot of things. But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, they're not vampires. Maybe they're Highlanders.
There you go.
If you really think about it,
Yeah.
they're trying to kill everyone. They can only be one.
Well, they're not trying to kill everyone, but
Isn't
they're
it-
definitely trying to kill each other to
Right.
get to one. They want to get down to that singularity.
Yeah,
which
you've
definitely
got to
happens.
be the president, and the
just a
only
plot.
way you get the president is to go over everybody else, take everybody else out. Republican, Democrat, everybody, yeah.
You got to climb the pyramid.
You got to climb the pyramid.
I'm not saying that politics is a pyramid scheme, but I think that politics is a pyramid scheme.
You know what? It's a pretty piss poor pyramid scheme because nobody's getting rich.
Well, it's a 200-year-old piss poor.
Yeah,
they're all getting rich.
Scheme.
Well, you know what? You're right. Because
Someone is getting rich. So it is a pyramid scheme.
Elizabeth Cheney, which will be a topic of a next show or a soon one. Cheney went into office. Her net worth was, I don't know, a couple $1 million.
Right.
She just got kicked out of office last night. Her net worth now is $40 million. How does a congressman whose salary is, I don't know, a couple $100,000 a year, who's only been in there 6 or 8 years, come out with a net worth of $40 million?
Well, politics is a
Pyramid
business.
I don't know, guys, but
And whether or not their business model is a pyramid scheme is yet to be exposed.
my point is maybe there ought to be term limits and income limits.
And age. So we need to go back to the age.
Well, age
limit.
limits. You can't be in ages, dude.
That's a no-go.
Yeah, hey, as the old guy at the table, I think I should be allowed to be in charge for the rest of eternity.
To retire.
No,
I vote for you, Jay.
I agree with you. You should vote for me. Vote for me, and I'll set you free. That's my point of view.
I'd also vote for
Free ponies and blowjobs for everyone if you vote for me.
Oh, you sound like the guy with the boot on his head.
Yes,
Vermin Supreme. That's the one.
That's the guy.
Free guns and free ponies
Yes.
for everybody if you elect me.
Okay.
So who was the guy that the Tiger King guy?
The Tiger King.
Tiger King.
Tiger
Yeah,
King.
yeah.
Yes, we could vote for him.
Yeah.
I'd vote
That'll
for
work too.
Tiger King.
So anyway,
also a good
I think we've
Well,
run.
wannabe cowboy.
I think we've run out of
he's a
bullshit
gay
for
person.
today,
Yeah.
and we're getting to be not entertaining. So, I just want to add at the end that future episodes are going to be focused on current events, things that are happening immediately, and we're going to have both sides of the argument. We're going to have the conservative side from Commodore J. We're going to have the what are they called? The liberal side? we're gonna have the wrong side from Dave.
The Fox News side.
Dave's not here. And these guys are going to keep us from killing each other.
Yeah.
So, and of course,
And put on our little spin on our opinions on things too.
absolutely, because these two guys are very, very intelligent and quite good looking. So
Good looking intelligent.
we're all good looking and intelligent. And I'm just old and grumpy, but I have been around a long time. And hey, I won the Cold War.
Yeah, but you're really
So-
good at being old and grumpy.
I'm good at being old and grumpy, and I won the Cold War.
Let me give
So-
you a short rundown of some future episodes so you can decide if you want to keep pursuing this. We're going to hit
Of
stuff
course, they want to keep pursuing. Look at us.
Right. So we got the COVID economic crisis. That's going to be a really important one. And that's actually a really lengthy one right here in the notes. Definitely going to go over the blame game, which is what I call politics. That is just what it is. You did this, you did that. It's their fault. It's her fault. Whomever. And it always comes from one side or the
It's the
other.
people's
And it's
fault.
fear.
Yeah.
Fear and intimidation.
Fear is the mind killer. So,
Yes.
But it's still a very effective
And a fanatical
weapon.
devotion to the Pope. Oh, no, wait. That was Monty Python. I'm sorry. I slipped.
We got a couple more here. Oh yeah, the Trump investigation. I can't wait for that.
That's
The
gonna be
Trump
fun.
investigation.
'Cause
You
for-
mean the investigation or the trillions of investigations that went on and on and on and on about every possible subject they could possibly do, and they didn't get him when he was in office. So, like good little Nazis, we're going to keep pursuing him even when he's no longer elected.
But we
But
gotta make them look bad. But
Gotta
that's
make
our
'em look
future
bad.
episode.
but that's a future episode.
Well,
So-
and it's an interesting episode too because usually I won't have much of an opinion. I'm actually like in real life, outside of all of this stuff, I'm pretty neutral. Like I'm very well centered as far as left and right goes. But there's a bunch of fat they trimmed off the Constitution to do that, and I'm a little ticked off about it.
So, and that's my job to be ticked off about it. And Dave's going to tell you why it was a great thing and it's saving all our souls. So
Yeah, Dave
And
definitely has a little bit of a savior complex, but he's a former politician locally here at the city
Hopeful.
level. So
Dave's a failed politician, but yes, he is.
he's successful in many other
He
places.
successfully ran.
Right?
He did.
Well, I think he successfully runs 7 miles every day.
He does, and he runs marathons,
Yes, yes.
and he's a good-looking actor.
He
I
really
honk
is.
at him as he's out of breath on the causeway.
Well, he just got over COVID.
He's a good-looking actor, therefore he's important. Just look at Charlie Sheen.
Right.
But anyway,
And then we're gonna have one that I'm seeing here. That's the Civil War coming. Yes or no? I'm gonna definitely have some opinions.
yeah, that's
about
a
that.
topic, an
Yeah.
upcoming copy.
And then okay or not okay doesn't matter for B block. Oh, that's right. People being too sensitive.
Too sensitive, guys.
So that's what you can look forward to in the coming episodes that we're going to put out here in the near future.
Make sure that you hit subscribe.
Yes.
Make sure to hit like, subscribe,
And,
get your notifications. turned
Drink
on for this so you can see
kava
it
rather
right
than alcohol.
Check out
Right,
your
right.
local kava
It's
place.
good for you.
And speaking of kava, Jay, do you want to do a nice little plug for Island Root Kava?
Yes,
real quick?
I got to tell you all, none of this would have been possible. We never would have met. We wouldn't have lived through the damn pandemic if it wasn't for Island Root Kava Bar in downtown Melbourne, because those guys kept on pumping out and
Kept us sane.
kept us sane, and by God, they saved our lives because they kept on serving day and night 24/7 through hell and high water and the pandemic.
Yeah.
So
Right, Island Root Kava Bar with 8 locations all over Florida to serve you with your kava and crazy
yeah,
needs.
and you'll be probably seeing us drinking a lot of this stuff because we're all,
And you'll probably find us there all the time.
and you'll find anytime you want, you can come down and kill us all.
You'll always be able to tell it's an interesting show if there's one of those boxes in front of us.
Yeah.
But if there's 2, you definitely want to watch to the end.
That's
Yeah.
right. So I
That's
guess
gonna be a good one.
that's going to be a good one. So I guess that's all we got today, folks.
Yeah.
Please do tune in, hit like,
Subscribe.
yada
Turn your
yada.
notifications on. You want to know when this stuff drops. So,
Right, because
on that note,
we're going to tell you stuff you're not going to hear anywhere else. And I'm sorry to tell you, it's gonna hurt.
this is gonna hurt.
Okay,
All right,
All right.
shells up.
shells up.
Boola.
Boola.